Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are unpacking a concept that is literally the bedrock of wealth creation and financing. I'm talking about money making money. Now, I know it sounds a bit like a financial cheat code, right? But I promise you it's not a trick, and it's absolutely not reserved just for Wall Street insiders. It's actually just a mathematical reality, and it's one that anyone, including you, can leverage once you understand the basic mechanics. Have you ever imagined your money actually working harder than you do? Seriously, what if your money worked while you sleep? Because, most of us are taught from day one to trade our time for a paycheck. We work day in, day out just to build a career. But what if the capital you've already earned could clock in for a 24/7 shift, just constantly compounding in the background while you go about your day or, even while you're fast asleep? That is the ultimate goal in finance, and trust me, it is highly achievable. Okay, let's dive into this. The absolute engine behind that reality is compound interest. Now, it's often dismissed as, magic by folks who might not fully get it. But it's simply the process where your money earns interest, and then, here's the kicker, that newly earned interest starts earning even more interest right on top of itself. It's the foundational mechanic of how capital scales over time. So it isn't magic at all, it's just math. Let's actually look at the mechanics here. Say you invest $100 at a 10% annual return. By year one, you've earned $10. Simple enough, right? But step two, well, that's where the math really accelerates. In year two, you aren't just earning 10% on your original $100 anymore. You're earning 10% on $110. So the absolute crucial point here is that your previous interest is now working for you too. To really visualize this compounding effect, just think of a snowball rolling downhill. Right? It starts out small, picking up just a tiny bit of snow with each rotation, but as its surface area expands, it picks up exponentially more snow with every single turn. It's small at first, then it grows, and then it grows even faster. The momentum builds the longer you wait, and the larger that principal gets, the more massive the gains become with each passing year. It's an incredible thing to see. Now, the mathematical engine behind that snowball is the future value formula. And hey, don't panic. I know equations can look a bit dense at a glance, but please don't be intimidated by this. This is just the standard equation used in finance to calculate exactly how much your capital will scale over time. The mechanics of it are remarkably straightforward and honestly incredibly powerful once we isolate the key variables. So let's break down those variables so it's super bite-sized, especially if you're a beginner to financing. FV simply stands for future value. That's the accumulated capital you end up with at the end of the day. PV is your present value, or just your starting money. That little R is your interest rate, kind of like that 10% we used a minute ago. And finally, N is the number of years your capital is allowed to compound. And let me tell you, out of all of these, that little N, your time horizon, that is without a doubt the most powerful lever you have on the board. Let's actually mathematically prove the power of that time factor. Consider two investors, let's call them Jack and Mike. So Jack invests $1,000 at age 20. Mike invests the exact same amount, $1,000, but he waits until he's 30. Both of them earn the exact same 10% per year. But by the time they both reach age 60, Jack's investment is dramatically larger. Why? Simply because he let that snowball roll for a whole decade longer. And this brilliantly illustrates a core rule of financing. Consistency beats intensity. Think about a houseplant. If a plant is watered just a little bit, but consistently every single day, it grows into a massive tree. Compare that to a plant that's watered really intensely, but, just once a month. That second plant is going to struggle to grow at all. Investing works the exact same way. You really don't need massive, sudden infusions of cash to build wealth. You just need to start early, be incredibly consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting for you. Okay, let's stretch this over a 40-year timeline because this is going to blow your mind. Watch the ultimate impact of time here. Person A starts investing just $100 a month at age 20, but then they completely stop at age 30, so they only put money in for 10 years. Now, person B starts at age 30, and they invest $100 a month for 30 solid years. Astonishingly, person A finishes with way more wealth at age 60. It mathematically proves that time in the market is vastly more valuable than the total amount of capital you actually invested. Crazy, right? So you might be wondering, how does this cycle actually work in real-life financing? Well, it's a very tangible process. Step one, you buy shares of a really solid company. Step two, that company pays you a portion of its profits as dividends. And step three, actually this is the real catalyst here, you reinvest those dividends to buy even more shares. This cycle just repeats continuously. It literally multiplies your capital in the background without any extra effort on your part.
Now, I have to be a bit stern here because there are some very common behavioral traps that will completely derail this entire process. Waiting too long to start is absolutely the most detrimental mistake you can make. But beyond that, spending your savings, interrupting your compounding cycle by withdrawing investments early, or worst of all, chasing get-rich-quick schemes, those will completely kill your momentum. Listen, consistent, steady compounding is the only reliable path to long-term wealth. Slow, strategic growth wins every single time.
Which brings us to the core takeaway from this whole explainer. The absolute best day to start investing was yesterday. The second best day, that's today. Now, obviously, you cannot magically give yourself more time in the past if you've already missed your 20s, but you completely control today. That snowball we talked about, it only starts growing once you give it that initial push. Your move today is to start immediately, no matter how small that initial capital might be. Just start.
Ultimately, compound interest is simply the process where your money earns money, and then that money earns even more money. It really is the most powerful force in wealth creation, and the best part is, it's entirely at your disposal. So, the big question I'll leave you with is this. Will you keep trading your time for every single dollar you earn, or will you take action today and finally let your money start working for you? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.